Welcome back to another episode of What About Dad? My name's Adair, and with the help of my friend Jen, we'll be going over Wynonna Earp episode 211, Gone as a Girl Can Get. So sit back, relax, and ask yourself, hey, what about Dad? Dude, so I love this episode. I thought it was a clusterfuck of awesomeness. What do you think about this cold open, Jen?
I really enjoyed the cold open, but to speak to the entire episode reminded me of Rogue One, Star Wars, with the theme and plot of everyone dies, and for the sake and better of the whole group. And so I just kind of I thought that was really cool. And we start the cold open with pretty much the end, and we work our way back. And it reminded me exactly of like Rogue One, the way it starts at the end and winds back, tells you the story up to the point. So yeah,
I actually love the fact that Emily's just kicking ass when it comes to trope cities. She goes, look, we're gonna get an episode where everybody dies for the most part. Oh, and by the way, all the straight people are gonna die first in these gruesome deaths, but all the gays, they saved the day and I blew them up, but they still lived. These are the most non-killable gays on TV, and I absolutely love it. It wasn't just the lesbians.
Did she really say that, though?
No. I'm saying not just the lesbians, but, like, the gay guy, too. In an interview, she kind of alludes to the fact that, the gays survived. But, like, it's funny because, seriously, you got Doc, you killed, dolls. Rosita, even being a straight person, she got her ass kicked. Wynonna's not even in the damn show at the moment, and the only people to save the day are the three gays. I think it's hilarious.
The show where diversity and representation wins.
Endless possibilities of storytelling when people don't die for the sake of drama. I thought it was really cool. Yes, you were gonna. I wanted to kind of talk about the AU and the world that we got brought into and what that meant kind of for you. What'd you think?
Well, I think that we've done this a lot this season, this alternative reality with Wynonna Earp. We've done it now 3 times where the show has taken us into another reality or a past sequence. So we had, the first time we did it, we had a dream sequence with the Sandman episode. The second time we did it, we had Vision Quest, where we went into the past and we saw how the Earp curse originated. And this is the 3rd time now where we aren't exactly in the now, and we are in another reality. We're in an alternate world. And the whole question that underlines this world is what if? What if Wynonna didn't exist? And then we see the outcome of that throughout the episode. It's very Rogue One-esque. But I feel like we've done this with this show 3 times, and this show only has a smaller run of episodes than like a 22 episode season, and I feel like that's a lot for a show to take you out of the current crisis or the current situation. That's a lot to not be living in the reality of the current show.
Now that you brought that up, I think it's kind of fascinating that now that I'm thinking about it, because we had said that this is something that we wanted to see a little bit more in the season, which was not necessarily normacy, but the town of Purgatory, like the actual city and what's going on in that city. I'm realizing that the plane of, that they're kind of living on just keeps getting more, higher and higher. So we started the first season in Purgatory, as Purgatorians, if you will, seeing the crazy that kind of goes on. Then we got brought into the crazy more and kind of sucked into the world of the demons and the revenants and what does that mean and all the lore and all the craziness. And then this season, we went above that, and now we're in alternate universes. We're in these dream sequences. We're in these mental kind of mind-blowing, planes of existence. And
psychedelic.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, how do you keep the stakes high but bring it back? You know what I'm saying? She keeps putting all these great things in front of us and these plates, but we do keep growing on the plane of existence. How do you go back to Purgatory as a city that has some crazy activity and keep it from, exploding? What are we going to do? Be in space next season? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, how do you keep the momentum, but also
Are you saying
bring
how
it
do you
back?
keep it, like, grounded in reality?
Yeah,
Is that the
a
question?
little bit, yeah. How do we get back to grounding it in reality, but still being fanciful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think.
And I mean, we're already dealing with this alternate Western modernized world.
Yeah.
And that's already asking the audience to like swallow a lot of, let's put a pause on reality. And now we're kind of shifting over to these alternate universes and planes. And is that really what the show is? I think that.
I mean, it's part of the show, yes, but I don't know. I just feel like
it's a shift, though. It's a tonal shift.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that season 3, I'm kind of, just hoping that there's a way to escalate, but also kind of come back to being a little bit more grounded. I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more. Like, I was kind of happy that in this episode, Waverly mentions Gus and like, people were like shocked that she's with Perry, but like just normal people. Like, I'm kind of happy.
Can I say that season 3, like this idea of this apocalyptic future coming in season 3, really kind of reminds me of Lost Girl season 6 in terms of stakes being raised so high.
Yeah.
By 3, it feels like we're in a season 6 wrapping up the universe.
Exactly.
End of series finale. But season 3 feels like
it's wild. Hold on really quickly. Let me think, because I had a note that I wanted to write down before I forgot for later. Oh, got it. All right. So we get into this universe. It's all crazy. And then the first thing we see is Doc in this well freaking out. I actually really think it's funny. Well, it was a nice kind of comical moment that wasn't supposed to... I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or not, but the idea of, like, the guy, he's like, get me out of this well, oh my god. He's like, what, the ladder's not good enough? And he doesn't even see the ladder, that there was a way out already. He's just, like, freaking out. And I thought that was kind of interesting that, in this alternate universe, somebody put a ladder in the well just in case someone got stuck in there again. like, let's just put this ladder here, just in case, and, after he gets out, he's like, well, somebody cover that damn thing up. I think that was great.
Can I just speak to that?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the guy was there. I thought the Revenant there, I thought he had left the ladder for Doc. I thought he was expecting Doc. Am I wrong in thinking so?
It was unclear. It's unclear because Doc doesn't realize he's the head of this gang in this reality. So maybe the Revenant did expect him to be in the well and have the ladder there. And Doc and ourselves were not aware of that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really...
And I mean, the ladder is kind of a reveal. Like, the camera pulls back and we see the ladder. And it kind of, like, not only is it the ladder, but it's a reveal to Doc about something he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And that's going to be his circumstances for the whole episode.
Exactly. And I kind of feel that I don't think the Revenant knew he was there because the line was, what, the ladder's not good enough? Like, he wants me to help him out? Like, you can't just use the ladder? Like, that's...
I thought the Revenant was there for him, though.
I think he was there, but I feel like the ladder, as far as the ladder's concerned, he didn't put it there for him. I don't know. It was a little weird, but I think you're totally right on the idea of, like, things being revealed to him slowly through this episode on purpose. That was kind of his thing. If, for those of you guys who are a little bit more, invested in, doing stuff, there is the Purgatory Case Files, and that's on Twitter, and you can click on the link, and it's this Nicole's Hot, her police station website, and she gets messages, and she's trying to figure out this thing. Now, Jen, you might not know this. They, in the Purgatory Case Files, have mentioned Samdi, the god of resurrection, or he's like some kind of god of resurrection, and he visited Nicole, for those of you who don't know, in the hospital last episode. They didn't show it on the TV show, but in the actual case files, she has she makes a auditory note, and she says, hey, this guy visited me, and he said he's looking for something, and that he can, if I give it to him, he'll set Waverly and myself, back to good or whatever. And she goes, why does he know me? He knew my name. So that's creepy, right? So the Revenant we saw helping Doc out was in the last episode as well. He was talking to Doc about getting into the downstairs of Shorty's because he wants to see something. At first, I thought he was talking about Rosita, but then I realized after watching the Purgatory case files that Revenant is going to be back. I'm 100% sure season 3, because I have a feeling that he is trying to look for whatever that guy that Nicole saw is looking for. And I think that's really cool how they're putting little hints and clues and people into the show who are also in this purgatory thing. And so we have Kate, it's intertwining. And I think that's great media. And I think it's so smart for the show to be doing. So every time I see that Revenant, I'm like, oh man, you have such a higher stake in this than I think people realize. And that's so smart because Emily does not put anybody in the show that doesn't mean something. And I think that's something that we have to watch for. Anytime you see a Revenant or somebody with some kind of lines or something important, chances are they're going to come back to be quite important. But back to Doc. Anything that you wanted to say about him?
Yeah, I thought that Doc getting out of the well was resolved too easily. So, you had the shock of him being back in the well in the last episode. And I thought that was a really traumatic ending. And I was like, oh my gosh, the well, Doc's in it. I never thought I'd see the day. And then we see him in the well again. And my only thought about that is, if the well is Doc's ultimate prison, then why is it so easy for him to escape from it? And I think that it should be harder for him to escape from the well because it's a metaphor for something larger about the character. And I also felt like, would it have been really so bad to have left him in there for the episode and then rescued him in the finale, which I think kind of would have... I think that you could have left Doc in the well this episode. That's just my thought.
No, I get it. I get where you're coming from with that. I think it was important to show what kind of man Doc would be without Wynonna. I mean, in a way, we saw what he was like without Wynonna in the dream sequence, in the vision quest, because he was hard, he was ruthless. At the end of the day, he kind of caused Bobo to be a little bit, of a revenant. And I think seeing that he took over after Bobo was gone, and without Wynonna, he was just kind of a criminal. He wasn't an honorable man who was trying to do anything. So I think it was kind of important to showcase how far he had come. I think that was kind of his journey in this episode of showing what you could have been, which was a a-hole misogynist who got, women tied up in barns, to the man who is trying to fight for a woman. He's trying to fight for his friends and for the actual reality he wants to live in,
But can't you just make the argument that that's some information we already knew about Doc? Like, we've already established that he's a better person because he knows Wynonna, and that in the past he's already been this terrible person. So by deductive reasoning, him being in this alternate world sets him back to who he was originally, and if anything grows upon that. So that's something I think as an audience we kind of already know about Doc. So I'm just saying, since we know that much about him, I thought it would be more traumatic to leave him in the well, and that's my argument with that.
No, I totally get that as well. I think it's because, yes. I think also we needed a reminder of how bad he was. Because, yeah, we know he's bad, or he was a bad guy. He was such a bad guy. The thing is, I think that we forget that he still kind of is a bad guy. There are still bad qualities to Doc, but because we like him, we kind of overlook it. And I think that this alternate reality kind of reminds you of how bad he could have been. What effects did he have on the town of Purgatory? It wasn't Bobo who ruined the town. It was him, and the fact that he was still capable. I don't know. I just think it was a small reminder to us that Doc isn't squeaky clean.
But also to speak to that idea, there was the recent episode about the Vision Quest where we were reminded that he was a bad person.
Yeah, that's
and
what
it
I'm
was
saying.
also taking place in an alternate universe. So having that reminded again in another alternate universe, to me, I didn't think we needed it. You could have left him in the well.
True. And well, to be fair, the Vision Quest is not an alternate universe. It was just the past.
It was the past, right? So
yeah,
we knew
so
that actually was who he was. Whereas this was an alternate universe with
I get that. No, I definitely get that, and it might have been
expanded upon who he was.
Little. Yeah, it could have been a little bit of a replaying on that. Something that I thought, a theme that they're doing in this episode or this season that I thought was interesting is, in a way, Doc kind of shooting blanks, if you will. He's like, I would just like some ammo, for crying out loud. Like every time he goes to shoot recently, it's just like not enough, and it's almost like, the writers are kind of saying Doc needs to use other methods besides his gunslinging to get what he wants. And I think that's another thing that Wynonna has taught him, that he can't just be going in guns blazing. He has to find another solution to things. And I found that kind of interesting, He used, he had his guns, but he was using the knowledge of Jeremy. He was using the knowledge and what he's gained from knowing about Doc, and he knows the widows enough to know that she's out of venom. Like, he was using more than his brute strength, I think, which was kind of nice to see. But I'm like, what is this theme with him not having bullets? Like, he's just shooting blanks.
Like it's not just that he doesn't just have bullets, he's just not effective.
He's just not effective.
Like the last episode too, like where he jumped over the hood of the truck to go shoot a bunch of bullets off. And it was just felt like he was firing, but it was just not effective because, again, it takes Peacemaker to send a demon back to hell.
True. To be fair, though, even Peacemaker can't kill the widows, and Wynonna talked about that. So she can injure them and poison them with Peacemaker, but she can't fully kill them. So he was more or less just getting in his shots because they do feel the pain. So he was just shooting her to shoot her. But if we go back to the doll episode, he was like trying to shoot the doll and nothing was happening. And then, Wynonna used Peacemaker.
I remember that. That was funny.
So I was just
agree. He's just not effective.
He's just not effective. It's like,
who is effective? Nicole. She's actually more effective in this episode with regular bullets.
You're real right.
Her bullets worked on the Revenants real good.
Well, hey, look now. So I just think that's really.
I'm just saying, Doc versus Nicole. Their bullets in this episode. I think
bullets wise, yeah, no, I get it. I think that's so funny. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That this whole thing was kind of like his situation and him being killed. Yeah, he might have been able to stay in the well, but also we needed somebody to pass on a little bit of knowledge to Waverly and getting her, up and out. I wanted to talk about, because it kind of involves Doc, the widows, real quick. Hilarious and ridiculous, and those two characters are so interesting to me. I love seeing Doc in the box with Mercedes Widow. I think Danny Kind is doing crazy amounts of work as Mercedes. Like, I love her so hard because she looks terrible in this show. Do we remember what Mercedes looked like? First episode, bubbly, loving.
She wore juicy couture track pants.
She's like the mom from Mean Girls, and she's the cool mom, like it's one of those. And then we just see her as the widow, and her scalp's falling off. She looks just the worst. She looked like a truck hitter, and bless her for taking that on. I love them in the box. I love the fact that Doc was smart enough to know that she ran out of venom, and that hiss off I thought was hilarious. And I love the fact that even Beth Widow has like this complete disdain for Mercedes Widow. I like the fact that they, even though they're not actual sisters, they kind of have a sister rivalry. Like, I'm going to be the better sister. I'm going to be the better wife. I don't need to get shot. You're an idiot. I can find these clues on my own. A more peaceful, savage way, if you will. And, Mercedes is just like hell on earth, like just beating people. And I like the fact that when Beth finds out that she needs Mercedes, she's like, crap, and dang it. And I got to go rescue this bitch so that we can get our husband back. Because if it was up to Beth, she would leave Mercedes there to rot. She gives zero fucks about Mercedes, which I think is interesting to their characters. Why are they connected? Why do you need both of the widows? Why do they need each other? What's the point? Jen, want to talk a little bit about just some of the widow stuff?
I do. I want to talk about the widows. So my overarching question to the widows, and maybe it speaks to this larger season, is what do they stand to gain by resurrecting their 100+ year dead ex-husband except for a return to the patriarchy. They've lived in modern times. They've experienced feminist and denim jeans, skinny
And bacon.
jeans, and and now they want to go back to this sister wifery. So to me, I don't understand what they're going to gain by resurrecting the husband, because Mercedes and Beth both seem like, even in their evil foulness, like progressive minded widows. You know what I mean? So what do they get? Do they get eternal life? Do they get exempt from hell? Do they get superpowers? I don't understand it, but I wouldn't want to go back to being a sister wife. Just saying. It has zero appeal.
That doesn't
The
sound
long
fun.
skirts and the high collar buttons in summer with the long braids. No, thank you.
Let's be honest, though. The widows are probably the most comfortable out of everybody on the farm because they don't have tank tops on. So, in that snow, they're probably grateful they're in their Victorian era outfits. But no, you're right. You know, what's the point? Like, I don't truly get what they want other than to bring him back, because it feels like a very empty goal. Like, we just want our husband back. Oh, okay, but what are you really trying to get? Clearly,
Yeah.
He's clearly not a loving husband that you're missing. You know what I'm saying?
You know what this reminds me of? I'm gonna compare it. It reminds me of the villain from Supergirl, Manal's mother. She wanted emptily to just have her son back, but they didn't expand upon that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with these widows. Like, they're so obsessive about this husband, you know, but they don't expand upon what that means.
Yeah, and I find that fascinating. Within this, Doc, Mercedes Widow, and Bobo are the three characters who know something's off in this universe. I wonder why Beth didn't also feel that change, and I thought that was kind of interesting, but
That's a good point.
I think there's something
That's a good point.
interesting about the fact that they all, I mean, I got that Doc remembered Wynonna because he grabbed the trophy, but Bobo and Mercedes Widow were like, yes, something's changed. Oh, when she talks to Doc in the box, oh, you see the change too. You know, Bobo says, oh, it's a spell, it's flimsy, I can see the edges of it, but, you know, so that's, I don't know, I guess because he's powerful and maybe because they're connected. I don't know. I think that's really fascinating.
You know, there is an unevenness in that in the consistency of people's abilities. You know, clearly Beth has less powers because Mercedes rolls in with a new spell, tries to resurrect Clooney. And, you know, I think Mercedes was more effective in getting those rings to work in the last episode. You know, the fact that Beth has no idea that you just brought it up, I think that's fascinating. She should have felt something or seen something if these other people who are equal to her are, you know. And it also brings me back to the Doc thing. I think there are enough people who have ties to the recent world that could have led Waverly on. But one of the things that I thought was really fascinating was that they were all able to sense that it was a weak spell. So that really speaks to, like, where Beth's abilities are, you know. If they can sense a weak spell and Beth can't, she must be really weak. You know,
Yeah.
so.
No, I get that. I totally get that. Going on to kind of talk about Doc and Black Dolls
and Jeremy.
Dolls and Jeremy and that whole Black Badge situation. In this reality, you know, with Dolls, not much changed with him, you know? And I wasn't shocked that not much changed with him. He went back to being kind of the cold-hearted, very callous Black Badge person. He kind of, honestly, reminds me of the leader, what's his name, Ethan, of the Brotherhood.
Okay.
He reminds, because that's how he is. He's very like-minded in that regard of, I think old Dolls and that guy would get along well because they have a job to do. It doesn't matter about your feelings. It doesn't matter about, you know, what you want. It's, these are my orders. This is what I have to do. You can deal with it. It seems that Wynonna taught Dolls to kind of not be so uptight and to see that there's more than just the black and white, but to kind of live in a gray area. And I think Dolls is, this season, kind of hatred and disdain for the Brotherhood comes out of that. He sees what he hated about himself so much in the Brotherhood, you know, when he was in Black Badge. He hated being rigid. He wanted to be more free. Whether he said it or not, you can tell that character wanted to be a little less uptight. And I think his disdain for the Brotherhood is because he sees the same in them that he had in himself, you know? And I think that's really fascinating. And I think that in this journey on this episode, Dolls, when he gets shot and says it felt empty, it didn't feel good to kill Doc Holliday, I think he was my friend. And this is kind of the first time we really, I mean, not really the first time, but once again, it kind of gets mentioned that Dolls really cares about Doc. Doc actually, and it means something to him, you know? And Dolls isn't just dealing with Doc anymore. There is a connection and a friendship there, whether they love the same woman or not, you know? And I think that's really kind of nice.
I thought it was traumatic watching them shoot each other. I thought it was something that they put in an alternate universe because it's ultimately something that will never actually come to pass in their main realities. So it was kind of like for shock's sake. And yeah, that was pretty much all that I took away from watching that scene between the exchange between Doc and Dolls and them shoot each other. And actually, I didn't really care for Dolls' realization that they were friends. I didn't care for him having a sense of reality, I guess. I think I'd rather him have stayed cold throughout the whole thing.
Because, well, I mean, he was until literally he died, but like...
No, until he died. I think it would have just been more profound to see him completely commit to being this darker, colder person who's unchanging, rather than being like, oh, I think I have a sense of that we were friends. Just because, since it's an alternate reality, why not just completely see that reality out? You know what I mean?
Well,
like, why interject the friendship?
But the reason is because the whole point of this episode was that when they got out of the spell, it's because they remembered Wynonna. So, like, the reason why he realizes he was Doc's friend, not because he shot him, but because he started remembering Wynonna, and that idea of, like, oh, he kind of remembered who he was, you know? And if he didn't remember Wynonna, if he didn't do that, it would have caused more implications, negative implications for the rest of the seasons. Because that means that it shows Wynonna really isn't a base in his life, that there's not, because that was the whole point of this episode. Everybody realizing how important Wynonna was.
Right, but I think you could make the case that, you know, we would see it, rather than being told it, we would see it, that this colder existence that he would have had that just been, you know, had this dark, brutal guy. You know, just like, as an audience, we take that away. And I'm just saying, like, I just feel like, you know, if we're doing alternate reality, give me alternate options, you know, like, show me something that I don't already know about, that I can't already predict about, what their reality is. Yeah. So that's it. Like, it's a what if, but let's...
No, I get that. Hey, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about, like, that idea of, would you, if you were in this alternate universe, or if you can really kind of change it or whatever, would you want people to be more cold, or would you want them to stay, you know, just let us know. Like, what would your thoughts on that? Because it really is kind of an interesting conversation to have about, you know, how changing we would be if choices were different, you know? So just let us know at the bottom, or, you know, hit us up on the Twitter about that. The other thing I wanted to mention about Dolls that I thought was interesting. Was it Dolls or was it Doc? You said something about them shooting each other, and how you're like, they did it for
the trauma of watching these two guys.
I also feel like this is a nod to something that happened in the Dream Vision Quest episode. At the end, while Dolls and Wynonna are in bed, he mentions, like, you know, enemies become friends, friends become enemies. And he kind of mentions that. And I think that I don't know why, I hate to don't mean to go into a prediction thing, but I definitely feel like Dolls is going to end up on a negative side. As much as I like him, and we talked about this before, how Bobo, Wyatt, and Doc's path parallels Doc, Dolls, and Wynonna, I now feel like it might be true that Dolls is more on the side of Bobo's parallel than not. He's a good man with darkness in him, and I think that darkness might take over Dolls later in the season. It just feels like something weird's coming with Dolls. That's just my own.
I love that prediction. I absolutely think it's a great one. And to piggyback off of your idea right there, I think that one thing you could even think of, I don't know if they went this deep with it, but let's just go there. You know, Dolls, damn it, their names are both D. Dolls dies, but and at the end you see his lizard eyes, right?
Yeah.
And so we haven't established this, but when Dolls dies, does he go to hell? And did he go to hell in this alternate reality? And that was a question that you and I were talking about off mic. We're like, we don't know.
Well, also the thing that I kind of realized, seeing the demon that was in the painting, or who sold the painting to Doc, he's not a revenant, because a revenant has the red eyes. Dolls, now I realize, isn't a revenant. He's just another creature out of the triangle, because the widows, they're not revenants either. You can't shoot them and send them to hell. They are just demons that you can kill. So Peacemaker can kill demons, and Peacemaker can kill revenants. Peacemaker sends the revenants to hell, but the Peacemaker only kills demons, but it doesn't necessarily send them to hell. So if Dolls dies, because the gun lit up when Dolls was in beast mode, which means he's not human. But it didn't necessarily mean he was going to go to hell. So I don't know. That's going to be something they're going to have to figure out later in the season. That's something that we're going to, I don't know. If anybody knows or has a theory about that and the gun and who's a demon, who's not, what kills what, let me know, because I think that's a slippery slope we get into. We have Jeremy. God bless Jeremy. He's a little donut, little nugget. I like the fact that out of everybody, Jeremy's unchanged. Jeremy is not wavering from being Jeremy. He is still happy. He's still optimistic. He's still nerdy. And he still, follows and believes the good guys for the most part. I don't know. I'm fine with Jeremy this episode. I think he's just not changing. No matter what universe, he's still the gay, adorable little brother that we all didn't know we wanted.
I feel like I wish I would have. The only thing I wish in this alternate world was if Jeremy were to either be like in a relationship with somebody in the alternate world, and preferably Dolls, because I like the Jeremy Dolls combo. I just think they're so cute.
I kind of actually like,
especially from last week with the "Who's your daddy?" comment.
Oh yeah.
It'd be funny if Dolls was his boyfriend in this episode. Just saying.
That would have actually been really funny.
Hilarious.
I also think I kind of like the fact that he didn't have a different alternate whatever on the sole fact of the comedy at the end when he says, I've only had sex 1.5 times. I don't want to die, and then they blow up and then he's like, woo, I won't die single, I think. The fact that he remembers saying that, and that's probably a true statement. Even in this reality, it's like, oh, Jeremy, sweet pea. Can we get him a boyfriend or a love interest season 2?
He needs a love interest.
Just something, because it's so precious. Anyways,
or his flirts to be returned,
or something.
Something, yeah.
Can we give him like a coffee shop person? I don't know. He's so precious. Or maybe like Dolls has a brother we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Like something.
I felt like the whole subplot of Jeremy and Rosita discovering that Black Badge was working independently and against them, against their cause. I thought it was such a throwaway plot that I forgot it. I didn't really think it was necessary. It was like a minor crisis when you had a much larger one, and I didn't really.
It was.
I didn't think it was necessarily to be there.
Well, it was definitely throwaway, but I think it's because they needed something they needed a reason why they were in the alternate universe, because
they needed a reason why to have Rosita and Jeremy arrive at the homestead. I think that was the whole reason why that was there.
And to set up the barn with explosives, and they were just pretty much pawns in setting up, which is kind of what their characters are for at the moment.
They were winning.
Yeah, they were winning. For those of you guys who listen to our Supergirl podcast, you'll know what that means. Speaking of Rosita, I love Rosita. I am so glad that she's here. I don't know. I love Tamara Duarte. I'm all in for her. I really am. I love the fact that no matter what alternate universe Rosita is in, I feel she's trying so hard to be on the good guy's side. This alternate universe, she's in the BBD. Yeah, she got, she was making pretty much meth for for Doc, and gets, unchained and goes to the BBD. I think that's speaks to her as a Revenant, as a person. Jen and I were having this conversation. What makes a Revenant evil, necessarily? Like, Boba was a good man, but hell turned him evil. Well, Rosita's been in hell, but homegirl went and got PhDs and, masters, and,
She went to the University of Hell.
Right? She went, exactly,
She graduated.
She straight up got honors, and her thing is, no matter what universe, she's still trying to be a good person, like, Revenant or not. So it's like, what does that mean for the lore of turning people into Revenants? Like, Bobo got turned, Robert Sveen got turned into Bobo because at the end of the day, his internal morals were very selfish. He was very jealous, and were those bad qualities heightened once he went to hell, and then he became a bad guy. Why didn't Rosita become a bad person instead of trying to be a better person? Why is she still, no matter what universe, on the side of good? So for me, I love that character. I love the fact that she's a Revenant, but she really is trying to be good.
Right. And in this situation, she's a Revenant, and she, by default, in her reality, is promised a certain hell upon Wynonna finishing the curse. Wynonna, last episode, was like, I'll shoot you last. And in this episode, she's kind of, there is no Earp heir, so she's in the clear in terms of living her life without having to go to hell or be shot by Wynonna, yet she does choose to help the group against her interest. And that right there is fascinating, So it just really speaks to this character. Why does the nature of good and evil is so gray now?
Yeah, it's so gray. It's so gray. And I think that's going to be very interesting to have to deal with. And, hopefully we have 5, 6, 7 seasons. But at the end of the day, that's going to be the biggest question and the biggest thing that needs to be resolved. When
even season 7 in space.
Right? Who do we send to hell? If we break this curse, does that mean everybody, what are the ramifications? I just think that's really interesting. So, yay, Rosita. I'm here for it, living for it. Okay, so here's, moving on to another character. Just want to give this shout out to Nedley. R.I.P. Rip Nedley. I noticed that on his plaque it said 2015 that he died. I don't know if it's a clue. I don't know if it means something, because at the end of the day, that it's in the past. It just seems Emily doesn't really showcase something that doesn't mean something. And I think this might mean something. So in this alternate reality, Nedley's dead. And at the same time, in this alternate reality, Clutie's resurrected. I've been saying it from the get-go. I think that Clutie's going to take Nedley's body and show up or whatever. It could happen. It could not. But, I would love to see that character who plays Nedley, I forget the actor's name, to kind of go dark. I think that'd be great to see. But he's alive in our universe, so I don't know how that's going to work, And
I think that, this was a foreshadowing for his demise. And I think that he's aged out of the show because people over 40 just tend to die fast on the show.
True.
Anyone who's older gets killed real fast.
Gus isn't dead. She's just gone.
She's just gone.
But Shorty did get killed. I'm not going to lie about that.
Shorty killed. I was just on Juan Carlo.
You're out of here, Juan Carlo.
Bye, boy.
Boy, bye. You're right.
This show has a lack of age representation.
I'm gonna have to make sure you guys don't get ageist on us. Thanks, Wynonna. Actually, that's really funny. I didn't think about that. I love Nedley, and I think he should last. But I also want to see him go dark. So that's just me, because I love when popcorn fun people become evil. So yeah, I just want to mention that. I thought that was kind of something to look forward to. We have this whole Sam D character once again from Purgatory Case Files. He's gonna be in season 3. So who dies that he needs to resurrect? These are the questions I have. Moving on to Bobo. Mr. Bobo. So much about Bobo. What? Okay. First thing, who leaves a petite young female in a box with an insane guy? Just wondering. Like, who does that? Why was there no guards with Waverly in that? Like, he killed her family in this universe. Like, why? That's just my question.
Right. He's the murderer of her family, and yet she can just openly see him in a cell.
It's just bizarre.
It's very slasher.
It really was. And can we just talk real quick about, this is me being super vanity and like fangirling. Why is Dominique wearing a Dominique outfit but acting like she's Waverly? Like that whole outfit she wore with the hat and the super cute I've seen a photo of Dominique just wearing that outfit. I was like, guys, I know
she's got a nosebleed.
I do. I was like, I know she's like Waverly and all, and she's this actress, but that's a little too close to home. I loved it. I was like, yeah.
Showed up as is, and they're like, you're fine.
She just showed up on set.
Makeup
like, is this
and
cool?
Wardrobe were like, just continue to the set.
Just change your boots and you might be fine. That's crazy. Anyways, just had to mention that.
Okay,
Bobo.
So,
yeah,
my question is, what are his powers? He is powerful as fuck. And
OP
why?
as hell.
He just has a plethora of things he can do with his magic hands, and they just have force in them, and he can break curses. And I was just like, he seems to be very powerful, more so than the other revenants, and I don't understand why he's been
who knows? Yeah, exactly. Why
with
exactly
extra powers?
Infused? Yeah, he definitely been infused with extra powers, but why? Like, who was that? We have a lot of questions, and guys, we'll just ask you these questions because I want to know your answers because we have our own ideas of these things, but here it is. What does Bobo gain from A, being with the widows? Also, what does Bobo gain from meeting Clootie? Why did Clootie tell Bobo or show Bobo where his grave was? Other questions that we had were kind of like, why did Bobo help Waverly? Yes, we know that she's his angel, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about that a few times. But what's the actual, reasoning for him to help Waverly? Bobo goes back and forth in this episode, jumping ship. He goes and helps Waverly and Nicole, but then he's also helping the widows, and he broke the seal, and does he not want to go back to hell? How does that work? Like, even in these are all spoilers, guys, but even in the promo for next week, he says, I said I would give him Waverly. So where do his loyalties lie? Why is he super OP? Bobo is just shrouded in tons of mystery. All I want for Bobo is to actually be a good guy and be back to Robert. But I have a feeling that all season 3 is going to be just Bobo based, and I'm down for it.
I love this actor and I love this character, so I am absolutely ready for more of him.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, just his acting and his attention to kind of detail, and I love when he does his little, he kind of chomps his teeth together, and can we just talk about this? It was so Sci-Fi Channel. This is the first time I was like, wow, that's really Sci-Fi Channel, but I also loved it when he's comes out of the insane asylum, and he snapping his
I love that too. When he has the strength jacket, and he has the little whips, and he's just whipping people. I thought that was totally something that he would have, just the actor was like, yeah, I got these whips, I'm gonna be weird with it.
It honestly, it just feels like the actor's like, I'm gonna just get weird with it, and I'm gonna just do something. Does this work for you guys? Because also when they did the Vision Quest, oh god, I don't know why I can't think of the actor's name at the moment, but the widows were in the box and you see the hand come out of the hole and he just kind of like slaps her hand. And it was just so like silly to that character because that's who he is, you know. And so I really like the fact that he's like whipping people and he's like, you see his hand, it's very Joker like.
It's like he's sneaking out of this hospital and he doesn't have any weapons, but he's just scary enough with these hand whips.
I loved it, and it felt very Gotham City to me. Like, it felt very Batman, very like...
He's very much the Joker of this world, I agree.
Yeah, you know, and it just cracks me up. I really love Bobo. I love the unlikely trio of Nicole, Bobo, and Waverly. Jen, what did you think?
I was terribly uncomfortable with seeing Bobo and Nicole together. I was like, how is she okay with this? Like, Nicole, who's always so, like, concerned, even in the alternate reality universe, she's concerned for Waverly's safety, you know? And enough to, like, go into danger with her, but you have this really scary, hunking dude, and Nicole's just, like, in the back seat. I don't understand that. But it was funny, and I enjoyed that, so.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't
absolutely
have changed that.
No, it was really quite good, and blowing the door off, it's just hilarious. I don't know, that was all just ridiculous. Speaking of Nicole, I kind of want to segue into her, and I love her this episode because not just the Wayhaught things, which we'll talk about, but I love the fact that in this episode, I felt like she was Nicole from season 1. A lot more confident and a lot more sure of herself. She wasn't getting her ass kicked. She wasn't, you know, being manipulated or whatever. She was just being a badass. She got to be the sheriff. You can tell it was a different feeling as opposed to following. She was leading. You know, we saw her using her gun and really like shooting stuff, and, you know, even her flirting was just like, once again, more on point and just like, there it is. Unapologetic, if that makes sense. You know, I really liked Nicole in this episode, and it kind of gives me hope, but also kind of bums me out that like it took a alternate universe for her to be more of a badass. Like, I want to see more Nicole hot police officer, you know, being in the trenches, shooting, having more action, seeing more danger, and not being weak. Like, Jen had mentioned this last week. Waverly's over here with the sticks, no police training, and kicking the widow's ass. And Nicole's like, oh my God. Like, can
She's
Nicole
a princess.
A little bit of a princess. I'm like, can I see some hand combat with Nicole hot? I think that would I would shit myself, to be quite honest, guys. Like, yeah. If I see Nicole hot.
That's a little uneven. I agree. I feel like from when you first meet Nicole, she's like, you know, asking Waverly out in Shorty's bar and really confident. And then we see her in season 2 kind of lose that confidence, you know, and in this alternative reality, it's just like we see her a little bit. We don't see that, actually. She's actually, you know, Waverly shows up with her lunch, and she's kind of, like, afraid to talk to her or admit that she likes her, or she's pining. That's the word. She's pining for Waverly. And I just felt like, you didn't really see her do much pining in season 1, the first episode. You saw her being really confident with her flirtation. So, in that regard, in this alternate world, she's not been able to work up the confidence to talk to Waverly, though she knows who Waverly is because she orders her lunch from Waverly every day.
Yeah, I think that I want to see that confidence come back. I also, I don't know, there's a lot about Nicole that I want explored. I really do. I think that in this reality of, you know, being in charge and things like that, it was nice. But yeah, I hope that next season and in the reality, we just see more police officer, more, you know, I could just see in my head a close up on Kate really doing like a hand-to-hand combat thing and really showcasing, because like Ned Lee said, he spent all this time trying to recruit her. She was the best one to find, but like, your best one can't fight or really can't protect herself. So I'm like confused. I want to see her be the best. Like I haven't seen her be the best cop yet.
She needs to get some lessons from Alex Danvers.
A little bit.
I feel like the two could go out for a drink
And have
Alex Danvers should be like, let's trade. I'm writing a fan fiction. Can someone write that for me?
Let's get on it, guys.
Can somebody write a fan fiction of Alex Danvers and Nicole Hott going out for a drink?
Oh my god, could you see them dating? Could you guys
No,
see?
I could not. Oh no, don't do
It'd
that
be
to
too.
me.
It'd be like the what was that? Sin City or what do they call it?
Oh
where she's dating
Broad
herself.
City. Broad City.
Freaking Broad City, where she's dating
Right,
herself. And they're like,
yeah.
This is weird. Oh man.
But I could totally use like a bro TP fanfic if anyone wants to take it upon themselves. Maybe I'll write it. Who knows? That'd be weird, right? If I write it, would you act it out for me? Oh my god.
I would say no.
She's like not sold.
Not sold.
Fine, whatever.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down for the bro TP.
In the name of fun, Adair. In the name of fun.
Oh, okay. So moving on. Okay. The name of fun. Yeah. So that's my take on Nicole's. Okay, let's get to Waverly. And we kind of touched on her here and there, but
Did you now?
Well, we all wish we could touch on Waverly from here. Anyways,
that's weird. Got weird.
It got weird. I'm like Jeremy. Bad timing, Jeremy. Bad timing. It is what it is. All right. Don't judge me.
Okay.
Somebody thought it. Somebody out there listening to this thought about that. Anyways, Waverly, I really love. Okay.
I miss calling her Gooverly.
I do miss calling her Gooverly because that was genius.
That was fun.
Right up there with Wayhaught. Like Gooverly and Wayhaught. Those are like the two best nicknames.
Names.
Just good names.
Show is on it with the names. Yeah. Oh, go on. To your point.
Okay, guys. I want to know what the hell Waverly is. Can somebody tell me? Emily, can she tell me? I just think that is going to be the biggest secret ever. What is Waverly? Now, with the idea of Waverly, I'm kind of getting concerned in the show that even though the show is called Wynonna, the show's really about Waverly. Because it feels like her identity, who she is, what she is so integral that it's starting not to take focus from Wynonna, because I still want to know her issue, but Wynonna's just the heir. But like Waverly is something else. Demons, JC, all these things tend to know and see Waverly and know that she's so powerful, you know, but like not. So I'm starting to go, is this taking up the story base of knowing her origins? And that's just me. But in this particular episode, I really liked her journey. I don't know. I like the fact that she was very unknowing. She still had a lot of herself. She didn't like people in her private business, which bled over on both things. I like the fact that they paired up with Perry, because we all were going to be pissed off it was Champ.
I was actually hoping it would be Champ. Oh my gosh. I've been wanting to see Champ come back since like the beginning of the season.
True, because he's just so unapologetically stupid.
But he's also a part of the pedestrian world of purgatory, you know, and I miss that.
Well, that's I think why I like Perry, because everybody was like, ew, she's with a guy, but in the alternate world, she still hadn't figured herself out. But I like that it was Perry, because Perry, even though, like, he was in the other episode with the Scarecrow, he's not a bad guy. Like, he's not a bad character. He's not misogynist. He's not a Tucker. He's not a Champ. He actually cares for the woman he's with. He really liked Wynonna and wanted to ask her out. Yeah, he might have wanted some supernatural help, but he actually liked her. In this, he seems like he's patient. If being engaged to Waverly, 3 times she broke the wedding, 3 times she had different dresses, he's patient and willing to, you know, help. He was trying to find the people that killed her family so that she can get closure. So I like the fact that character isn't an asshole. That's just me.
I wanted it for all those reasons for her to be like getting married to Champ, and then everyone to be like, ew, it's Champ, gross, Waverly, and then for like Nicole to like win her again. I wanted that trope, so bad. I just want to see it again. It's so good.
No, I get it. I like the. I like
indulge.
I get
Indulgence.
it.
Indulge me sometimes.
I'm down for it. I really liked the idea of her conversation with Doc and that whole situation. I thought that was great. What'd you have about that?
I know. I was just going back to Perry real quick because you mentioned him, and I kept thinking in this alternate world universe, if like he ever made the wish on the trophy, and if he could possibly have known about the Sandman. That was something that I was wondering, because that had to do with him and his hockey team making a stupid wish that later, 10 years later, came back to like damn everyone.
No, he did. You know? He did make a wish on the trophy. I don't know what his wish was, but he definitely made the trophy because the Scarecrow at the end of that episode did try to kill him. And
right.
So I don't know if his wish counted in this universe. I don't know if it made any sense.
I kept thinking that he would have info on the trophy and that he was going to tell her, and that's why we saw him again. And then it just turned out he was the romantic lead. And
I see what you mean. Actually, that would have been a kind of a nifty way to kind of bring that trophy into play if he would have...
like, he could have known where it was. You know, you could have really used him to give you information.
You know what? Now, Doc being the well actually makes a little bit more sense because Doc's the one who told Waverly about the trophy, and I think it'd be interesting that no matter what parallel universe, Perry would have still made a wish, and maybe that's even why he ended up with Waverly. Maybe he was like, I want my wish to be with whoever, and she was the end of that wish, you know? And then
right, or it could have even go one step deeper and make it Tucker, and everyone would be like, "Oh, it's Tucker."
I don't think that poor actor is
like
allowed
if Tucker
on the
had
set
made a wish on the trophy for Waverly, and we would have creepy face Tucker.
Bull. Oh my God! I would have just wanted this alternate universe would have been amazing that way. Because then you would have Waverly married to Tucker, and she's flirting with Nicole, and he's still an asshole.
So
and then Nicole just puts a bullet in his head. Oh my God, I would have. Okay, dear children out there,
Emily should hire me, and I could spit these. I could just pitch to her all day these ideas.
Can we get that fanfic of just alternate like Waverly and Tucker, and then like Nicole just like Ramboing Tucker over to get Waverly.
And Alex Danvers teaching Nicole how to Rambo.
Yeah. Just, guys, it'd be a lot of it. I'm here for it.
And then, can I just make a side note? This is a very simple, quick note. Nicole's hair seemed extra red in this episode.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I love...
She had just gone to the salon.
I love the fact that she's the redhead, but they are getting a little ridiculous with Kate's.
They're getting real red. That's red.
They getting real red with that dye. I'm like, all right, guys, tone it the hell
back. Her eyebrows do not match that red.
I felt like they kind of matched earlier season 1, and when she was like a normal looking redhead, not like Suicide Squad looking redhead. But anyways, I mean, I'm here for it. Love the red hair, but can we tone it down just a wee, just a skosh, if you will. Okay, so Waverly, kind of summing this up, we have them heading back to the barn. Actually, we have just the cute moments of the office and, them seeing each other and flirting and, Waverly giving Nicole, her delivery and all that banter. Super cute. I love the fact that when we go to the witches area... Oh, sorry. Let me back up. Boop. Being in the car, I think Nicole delivered the best line of the whole episode with the, "Oh, you would do that for me? There's a lot of things I'd do to you." She goes, "For me? Yeah, that too." I'm sorry, that's smooth as shit.
Nicole is thirsty.
That girl needs some Gatorade real bad. She is dehydrated for some Waverly. It cracks me up. I'm like, damn, girl, slow your roll. But, like, I thought that was such a cute moment. Know. She don't even know. I like the fact that they refused to say that was hot. Like, I just want somebody once in the episode, but like, that was hot. Because Waverly,
like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because they're running around and she's shooting, and Waverly goes, "Oh, you're so cool, hot." It's like, oh god.
That's one note I have as well. They should have so many puns with her name.
I just need so many more hot puns. I mean, they even did it last episode where she goes, "Hot damn, you made it!" And I was so pleased with myself that I got to hear that. I love that whole exchange. I love Waverly being on the phone with Perry, like, yeah, raspberry's good. Sorry, I'm in a barn that's about to explode. By the way, I think I'm gay. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Like,
that was really funny.
that was like, what a way to come out. I kind of feel like we should just do that with our lives now. Anything you have hard to say, you know, if you have a boss, it's like, oh, that's...
Just say it on the phone and hang up.
Just, yep, pretty much. Just call, I'm not coming in, I quit. Okay, bye. Click. You know, just anything. I think that'd be great. It's like, sorry, I love you, Mom, not coming to Thanksgiving. Okay, bye. Click. You know, just anything. But I thought that was cute. I loved them reconnecting and, you know, wherever you go, I go, and this whole thing. I thought that was cute. It was so Wayhaught. I was living for it. Could not stop smiling. Made me happy. All right, real quick, I have something to say about Wayhaught, though. My question to you guys, let's have this discussion. People were getting their I'm not going to say everybody, but people were getting their panties in a bunch that Waverly kissed Rosita while they were dating. While Wayhaught was dating. Well, in this reality, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Nicole's married in this reality, and Waverly's engaged. So them flirting and kissing each other, my question is, how is that okay? But in the reality, Waverly, not accidentally, but like, you know, through emotions and ridiculousness, kissing Rosita is bad. Technically, in the alternate universe, they cheated on their spouses. So my question is it only okay to cheat when the two Wayhaught people aren't cheating on each other? Or is it only bad if they're cheating on each other? Do you guys get what I mean? Like, Waverly kissing Rosita's bad because it hurts Nicole. Nicole kissing Waverly is good because it's Waverly, but it's bad for Shay. Waverly kissing Nicole is good for Waverly, but bad for Perry. So, like, you know what I'm saying? We can't be mad at one and not mad at the other. Is it just because it's an alternate universe? I don't know. Your thoughts? What do you got? Any thoughts on that?
Well, Adair, my thoughts are...
Jen, I'm gonna need you to stop being Captain Spock. That was weird. You got very William Shatner on me.
I just thought I was really okay with it because I would have not been okay with it if there had been a scene where you get an interaction between Shay and Nicole, because then you're establishing that they're in a marriage and that they live together and they have some form of life. But the ring only just infers something, doesn't establish anything. So in that regard, I just thought, like, they could have been separated.
What about Perry?
What about Perry and Waverly? Well, I think that...
He was actively trying to plan a wedding.
He was actively trying to plan her wedding, and she was actively discovering something about herself.
But that's... that's the argument, because, like, when she kissed Rosita, she was actively discovering something about herself, which was, I don't want any other human but Nicole. You know?
And then she rediscovered that again.
Truth.
And it was a love so true.
A tale
through the universe.
Tale as old as time. But no, that was my question. So for those of you guys out there, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that idea? Is it okay because it's an alternate universe? And like Jen said, there was lack of seeing their spouses on camera. You know, whatever. I just think that's a really interesting thing to bring up. And last but not least for this episode, we have Wynonna popping up in a field. Just like her living her best life. She finds, you know, out that Bobo's running with the widows. And then she goes into labor, or starts going into labor. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of end that episode, giving us a bit of a cliffhanger on her note. Yeah, what did you think?
I think that, can we just go into predictions?
Yeah, absolutely.
We cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I feel like two things could happen. One, Wynonna's gonna have the baby, but it's gonna be a hell baby. Like, remember in Xena, Gabrielle has a baby, and that baby is Hope, but she's a real monster, a demon from hell, and Gabrielle has to kill her own baby. That way you don't have to deal with any of this, like, baby being carried around for seasons like Walking Dead.
Well, to be fair though, to Xena's kid.
No, it's Gabrielle's kid.
Either way. You're talking about. Oh, sorry.
So what I'm saying is, what if Wynonna has a hell baby, and what if Clootie resurrects into the baby? I'm just throwing this out there.
No. I thought you were talking about Xena's baby, Hope. No, I'm sorry, Faith, Hope, one of the two. Yes,
I'm talking about Gabrielle's
demon baby. Gotcha.
Baby. And how she had to kill her own baby because her baby killed Xena's baby, and that was complicated. But that was excellent drama. But, like, what I'm saying is, I would like for Wynonna to have to kill her own baby because the baby is a hell baby. Because somehow, as Clootie's being resurrected, there's an evil spirit imbued into the baby, and now she has like a hell baby. Ah! So I thought that would be compelling.
I'm actually not.
See, I need to be at the table spitting these ideas to
not,
Emily. Emily, if you're listening, hire me.
I'm not even mad about it. So, because that's ridiculous, and that's right up the alley of this show. So I'm not even shocked.
Love it.
Yeah,
I have really good. I feel like we're on the same level.
I don't have a prediction necessarily, because, well, I mean I do, but like not. Real quick, I just want to say something about Waverly, because it reminds me of Bo from Lost Girl. I feel like Waverly is the Bo of this show. She is, when Bo finds out that her father is Hades, and she's like, what the fuck? She's unaligned. She's not good. She's not bad. She purposely...
Don't tell me I haven't finished it.
Oh my God, you're so done.
I'm on the last season.
Really? No, you get spoilers because it's been a decade. You just need to hurry up and catch the hell up.
I just got to the hell horse part.
Anyways, like I was saying, Bo rides in the middle of good and bad. Waverly apparently is in that place too. We don't know who her daddy is. We all know it's going to be a hot mess, let's be honest. I'm actually waiting for there to be a twist. I really want her to be a Earp. I just want her mom to be something crazy.
Okay, plot twist. Waverly's daddy is Doc. Oh!
I'm done with you.
Just kidding. But that would be incredible.
That'd be ridiculous.
Like if she had never mind. I have nothing for that. I have to develop that plot a little longer.
Oh my gosh.
But no, the other thing I'd like to see season 3 would be more Bobo. More Bobo.
Well, I think he's definitely going to be in season 3. But what I was saying about Waverly is that I think that, I don't know, it just reminds me a lot of Bo and that character. And I feel like that's kind of the same journey she's on of how do you become human, or how do you become not an Earp and still have your identity? How can you ride the fence of dark and light, but also, stay true to yourself, and then the whole figuring out who her daddy is. I just feel that coming. But I think that was great. I think Wynonna's gonna have the baby, and who knows how they're gonna grow that baby up. Because I don't know if you guys know this, on TV, it's hard to work with animals and kids. Animals and kids get a certain time to film and shoot, so you got to do all your stuff in one, a few hours with them, and then they go on. It's easier to grow people up, kill animals off, because you don't have to deal with them. So I wonder how they're gonna do that. It's gonna be wild.
Okay. I also think that it'd be really cool to see the Revenant come back, who's the baby daddy of Wynonna's baby, and just give her some hell season 3.
Well, so the thing is,
custody battle.
At the end of the day, we still don't know if the Revenant is actually the baby's daddy. Like, she didn't get his saliva, and she's not doing it with Doc. She is just saying that it's Doc's baby. Doc knows that she probably slept with somebody else. So there's going to be no real answer of whose baby's who until it comes out looking like somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
With the red eyes, yeah.
who knows exactly? So right now we're just assuming Waverly is Bobo's daughter. She's not. We're assuming baby Wynonna is going to be a demon.
Hell baby.
Hell baby. The only thing I can predict is that if it's a girl, it's probably going to be named Alice because that's Doc's mama's name. But other than that, we don't know if it's going to be a demon or not. It's going to be special, that's for sure. But, you know, you got a magical old dude who could have knocked you up, or a revenant. So, you know, the chances are.
Old dude or revenant. Doc is almost aged out of the show.
No, Doc has aged out of the show like 4 times over. Actually, 3 times. If he's, what is it? What did we say? He's 150? He's 150? So, yeah. He would have aged out 3 times already.
Right.
That's why they killed him. See, we said
he's dead.
That's why they killed him.
Dead first.
Yeah, but you guys, there's a lot to talk about, and this is a great episode. We cannot wait until the finale. If anybody's in New York and they're doing any kind of finale meetups, let us know. We'd love to be there. We'd love to chat with you guys, and you know, have a great time during the finale.
We'll bring the guacamole
and the booze. Not all of the booze.
Here. That's one thing I wanted to bring up.
The booze?
So for the finale, I always like to do I like to, you know, pour a little one out for my fallen homies this season. So I was going to ask the audience, what do you think we should drink for our finale episode?
Mind you.
Kentucky bourbon ale. Or do you have anything that you wanna?
I mean, I'm a bourbon girl, so there's that. You know how
bourbon
I roll.
And power suits. We're gonna wear power suits to really be in our power, and then we're gonna drink glasses of bourbon, and then discuss.
So really, what's gonna happen is Jen wants to dress up like what's her name?
Rhea.
Like Rhea from Supergirl.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need a power suit, but I might just find a bullet-studded belt. And a leather jacket.
High collar.
And, like, you know, drink my bourbon. It'll be great. But, yeah, so if you guys know any meetups or anything for the finale, let us know. Other than that, hit us up on Twitter at whatabout_dat. And Jen?
You could put us in your ears on iTunes. We are there. We want to go with you places. We want to go with you to the laundromat.
Yes.
To the library.
It's true.
Always a good time.
You know, adventures around the world. That's really what it is.
Right.
So, yeah, make sure you guys hit us up and make sure you comment below. Click subscribe.
If you want the podcast a day early, you can also hit us up on SoundCloud.
Yes, exactly. We're trying, that didn't happen this week, but we're definitely trying to make sure that the audio gets up on Saturdays and then you guys have the video on YouTube on Sundays. So stick around and check that out. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great time. I cannot wait until this finale. It's going to be mind-blowing. Have a great night. See you later. Bye.